That brings us to item 15, which is initial consideration of appeal of business license application of 1105 Camino Del Mar, Suite A. This is a de novo hearing, and Leslie, would you take us through the guidelines for de novo hearing?
Thank you, Your Honor. Because Deputy City Attorney Bob Malowitz and I have provided significant legal advice to city staff on the business license application decision, we have arranged at no cost to the City of Del Mar for our colleague attorney Jacqueline Venassia to be here today to provide independent legal advice to the City Council about this item if needed. Ms. Venassia is an experienced attorney at the law firm of Lounsbury, Ferguson, Altona, and Peake with a public law and litigation background. She represents a number of other municipalities. Any legal questions that you may have about this agenda item, please direct to Ms. Venassia. She's going to come up here right now, and she has also been provided the municipal code on initial applications for appeal. She will also advise at and through any de novo hearing that the council may vote on to hear tonight. But Mr. Malowitz is also here to provide to assist in staff's presentation and answer any questions that you may have directed at staff. So I will give my chair to Ms. Venassia right now.
Thank you. And Kathy, you're going to do the staff report?
Yes.
Okay.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council. First, I'd like to state for the record that the Finance Director has delegated myself as the Planning and Community Development Director to the role of presenting the staff report for this item. Excuse me. Tonight is an initial consideration of appeal of the Finance Director's denial of a business license for a business located at 1105 Camino Del Mar in Suite A. The appellant and the applicant for the business license was Mr. Patrick Kennedy. And tonight, as you well know, an initial consideration of the appeal is heard, and if two or more council members wish to hear the appeal, a de novo hearing is scheduled for a future council meeting date. I first would like to walk you through a little bit of the project background. The Finance Department received a business license request from 1105 Camino Del Mar Suite A from the appellant and stated in the proposed use an alternative medicine or medicinal marijuana cooperative as the use for the business license. The business license was denied based upon a non-compliance with the municipal code. The Del Mar Municipal Code states in section 5.12 that business license applications typically are routed to the planning department to confirm that the use is allowed by zoning. We use 4 different criteria to assess, and in this case, the activity for which the license is sought is contrary to the local, state, or federal law, in this case being the local zoning code. The Del Mar zoning code, which is section 30.22, is the zoning code regulations for our central commercial district, and it allows only the defined uses of community services and cultural uses, retail uses, restaurant uses, personal service uses, and office uses. These are outlined in the municipal code, and the medical marijuana cooperative was not one of the uses outlined in that zone district. Likewise, we also have a horizontal zoning code regulation in section 30.22030, which delegates that the street frontage building spaces have additional restrictions, and they are only allowed for community services and cultural uses, restaurant and personal service uses. This location falls within the horizontal zoning code, and once again, a medical marijuana cooperative use is not one that is listed in the allowed uses per the horizontal zoning ordinance. The process that is used for determining allowed uses are described in section 30.01.030, and these were informed or told to the applicant when first coming in. And it does cite the provisions for the determination of an allowable use. That is, filing of an application for written determination. That is a hearing conducted by the Planning Commission that then makes that determination. And that was not a process that this applicant sought or used to determine that if this was an allowable use. So the Planning Department on April 1st provided a letter to the business owner that the application was denied and the license fee was refunded at that time. 2 weeks later, Mr. Kennedy filed an appeal with the city clerk. And I do want to note that the premises have now been cited a number of times for operating without a business license. The appeal cites a number of issues that are outlined in your staff report, but in summary, that the zoning code actually constitutes a ban on medicinal cannabis because it is not a permitted use. It cites the state of California's Health and Safety Code, particularly the Compassionate Use Act, as well as the code sections on the Medical Marijuana Program Act, to justify that it should not be a banned use. It also cites that this zoning code is both unconstitutional and preempted by state law. At this point, we are requesting that in this initial consideration that you review the appeal request and either set the matter for a de novo hearing or uphold the finance director's denial of the business license. And I thank you very much. Staff is available for any questions.
Are there any questions for staff, or does our substitute attorney want to weigh in? Jackie, do you have any comments at this point?
I do not have any comments. I'm here to answer any questions that the council may have on process or procedure. We do have the availability now for the applicant to make a presentation.
Okay, this is a de novo hearing. I see some people from the public here, but this is not a public hearing. So the applicant will have 3 minutes for his presentation, and then the city council will make a determination of whether or not to hear.
Actually, there are 3 minutes for public comment during the initial consideration, and then the council makes its decision whether or not it would like to set it for full hearing.
I'm sorry, you correct me, there are 3 minutes for any one member of the public to comment upon this?
There are, general public speaks for up to 3 minutes as part of the initial consideration process, yes.
Okay, thank you. So we will entertain at least one public speaker slip after Mr. Kennedy, the appellant, makes his presentation. So you have, please introduce yourself and give your home address, and you have 3 minutes.
Good evening. My name is Patrick Kennedy. I am the managing director of the 1105 Nonprofit Cooperative. I live at 2869 Verde Avenue in Escondido, California. And may I begin?
Yes, please.
Good evening. Please grant this appeal process. It is far too important not to give the city council members and staff time to fully understand the current laws relative to this important issue. I brought with me tonight 3 important documents. This is Proposition 215, which was enacted and made law in 1996. Senate Bill 420, which was enacted on January 1st, 2004. California Attorney General Jerry Brown's 2008 guidelines on how to legally comply with California's cannabis laws.